Rear Admiral Dennis Velez of U.S. Cyber Command. It is great to have you here. Thanks for joining me. You are fresh off the Cyber Guard exercise. What is that exercise, and what did you learn from it, sir?
Well, thank you, Francis. Great to be here with you this morning. And for us, Cyber Guard 25 TAC 2 is our command level exercise. It is part of the Elite Constellation Joint Forces exercises that the chairman directs. And it is a global exercise. It was in coordination with multiple COCOMs, in particular INDOPACOM. So INDOPACOM was executing their Pacific Century exercise, and CyberGuard was one of the supporting exercises for that major headquarters level exercise. We executed the entirety of our authorities, 6,000 plus cyber operators, our 5i partners in coordination, and also, again, support from SpaceCom, Transcom, SOCOM, and other combatant commanders as we executed the exercise. Learned lots of lessons. You know, just this past week, the Secretary of Defense elevated one of our component commanders, formerly known DODN headquarters, to now the Department of Defense Cyber Defense Command. So CDC, DCDC is the new command. So we were testing new C2 structure. How is that command going to be able to defend the Department of Defense infrastructure across the United States, globally? As you know, we have 32,000 plus networks in the department, and we're charged with defending those networks. So how are we going to do that on their new C2 architecture? How are we going to use AI to ensure that our operators have the capacity to defend against adversaries at a global scale? How are we going to ensure that our operations are supporting kinetic operations in a theater of war, and to ensure that the timing and tempo of those operations support kinetic operations on land, at sea, or in the air? So lots of lessons. I thought it was a very successful event for the command. We are now dissecting all those lessons, see how we're going to change our plans, our training, our requirements for the joint force to ensure that we're ready at any given time.
There's a word that you didn't use, but I'm hearing a lot at this conference that I imagine is especially applicable to what you just described, and that's interoperability. I imagine among all the COCOMs, exchanging information, exchanging data with each other, the partners and allies that you talked about that participated in this exercise. What's that landscape look like now at the same time the cyber landscape is changing as dramatically as it is?
Interoperability is key to everything that we do, and that's why I think, that's why I know that they're forcing the combatant commands to exercise together. You know, when I was a young officer, combatant commands and service will execute exercises in silos, and you go on doing exercise in the Pacific, and it was just the Indo-Pacific forces that operated. But we know today that at the level that we are going to be competing in executing combat ops, is going to be at a global scale. So we need the entirety of the joint force. We fight as a joint force. We don't fight as individual services or individual COCOM. So it is critical for us to integrate, to ensure, again, that our plans are well synchronized, that what effects that we think we are creating support the end states of those supported commanders that we are in, that they're in the fight. So critical, not just, again, for the uniform side of the house, but also how do we synchronize with industry? How do we synchronize with our local, state, national governments in terms of, for us, in Cyber Command, in terms of how do we protect critical infrastructure in the nation? How do we ensure that we, as a command, as a DoD, protect and defend those, elements that are most critical for the fight, et cetera? And how do we, again, partner, synchronize with the major partners at the interagency level that we need to be successful?
How do you prepare, and how do you prepare for an exercise like CyberGuard? How do you make sure that what you test is what you may eventually, unfortunately, may need to do in a war scenario?
So it starts many months before. So our training cadre, again, in coordination with the Joint Staff and the other COCOMs, they develop a set of testing and learning objectives that we are supposed to execute during the exercise, and then their performance measures that get checked out throughout the exercises, and their timing and sequence that allows them to measure where our assumptions valid. We assume X, and actually what happens is Y, so we need to go back. So those are the things that we're doing now. It's going back through our plans, our operations to ensure that the assumptions that we made to develop the plans paid off in the real or as real as we can make it events. And if not, then we got to go back to the drawing board and develop new plans and new operational parameters.
Yeah, that actually kind of fits with what I wanted to ask you next, which is how much of the after-action report revolves around whether you had the exercise on target, how much of it revolves around what you learned and how you may be able to take that forward.
So I think that's a two-part question. So certainly we look at, was the exercise able to really exercise what we were trying to test? So that's kind of step one. And then did we measure the right things? Did we get the right, was the right message delivered? Was the right learning happen with the forces? So we are going through that now. So there's actually a whole team of cyber operators that work our training plans, and they'll go back now and ensure that the lessons that they were, the objectives that we're trying to achieve were achieved. And it's not, how do we develop the follow on cyber? So we'll do cyber guidance in 2026 as part of our command level exercises. So the lessons that we learned today, not just in what worked during the operations, what worked in the exercise, what didn't work in the exercise, what simulations were real or felt real, what simulations were not real or not really informed by technology, and we'll go back and feed that back into the machine and develop a new exercise for next year. One thing is critical is that for us that we exercise today as if the fire wasn't happening today. So there was no future, Buck Rogers kind of 2020, 8 or 2030, 2050 technology that we have today, capabilities that we have today. So it's as real as we can make it.
A lot of discussion at this conference about the technologies that are impacting cyber and technology today, but also in the future. Two of those that a lot of people are discussing here, artificial intelligence and high power computing. Quantum is what is on people's minds, but the interim between now and whenever quantum becomes available also. How are you approaching either or both of those concepts at Cyber Command?
So we see both AI and high power compute as foundational for our ability to develop capabilities, provide cyber combat power to the joint force. And we've been very lucky that the department sees us that way, and we're getting great support from the Department of Defense and leadership there to provide investment dollars so we can have those tools in our toolbox. But AI is foundational. We're using AI today, so our operators are utilizing AI tools not just to do back office work, but also do operations. And we're looking at ways to how do we free up our operators from some of the mundane work they do in terms of cyber defense, and allow an AI bot to manage traffic, see what techniques our adversaries using, and develop AI agents that can help us identify those things at scale for the entirety of that cyber domain that we're responsible to defend. So the command is heavily invested. We have an AI task force that is being run by our Cyber National Mission Force. So the commander of Cyber National Mission Force has an AI task force that they're tasked by the commander to be on a continuous DevOps of AI projects and capabilities. So every 90 days they report back to General Hartman on the capabilities they've tested, the ones that they see value and they want to continue to develop, the ones that are not ready for prime time, we're going to send back to industry, or the ones that we think that with some tweaks we'll be able to use in the future, and we'll provide that feedback. And the reason why we're able to do that today is because the command is not just a combatant command with the classical combatant command authorities. The command is also able to execute service-like authorities to be able to acquire capabilities and develop those capabilities for the cyber force.
How are you approaching artificial intelligence as a tool in broader cyber defenses, and how are you approaching the concept of defending the AI tools that the organization uses for any kind of functionality?
So number one, our first step is to make sure that we have the trained force to be able to do that. So we are partnering with industry, We're partnering with academia, universities. We have a great relationship with, particularly with Vanderbilt University, where our cyber operators are going down for a specific AI training that they bring back to the force. We're developing in the command an advanced education training, an environment where we can actually figure out what is the training that forces need on X, because he moves so fast, and how do we get it there faster? Where's the best of breed? And then we scale that across the entire force. So training is number one, and make sure that those folks have the best training available. For the second piece of defending, and again, it goes back to ensure that we have the capabilities available at scale to be able to monitor our networks, to ensure that we can trust those large language models, et cetera, working with industry very closely to ensure that it happens. And again, using AI to free up our very, very high-end talent to do very, very high-end work, and allow AI or other systems to do some of the grunt work that happens today. So when you free up the talent, they're able then to ensure that the most important thing is done.
I have made a long list of partners as you and I have had this conversation, sir. Combatant commands, the department more broadly, industry, your international partners, and so on. What do you need from them to be able to do your job better, and what can you provide to them to help them meet their missions better too?
I think, let me start with academia. It's continue to collaborate and with us, and work with us, and help us learn what's out there, because I think the United States still has, I think, the capacity. We are ahead of everybody else in terms of AI expertise and AI development. So that collaboration is critical with academia, and have open doors for our folks to be able to have exchanges of information and learning across both ways. From industry, again, to continue to collaborate, to develop relationships with with uniform people, and bring us your best ideas too, and help us be partners as you try to do work with the department. I think Chairman Kane talked about it a few weeks ago in a speech, and he said, when he was out of uniform trying to sell services to the department, that's hard, but he is committed to make it easier. So that's our commitment. That we cannot do this alone. We 100% need our industry partners to be alongside with us. So we are committed to work with industry partners to ensure that the nation continues to be the leader in AI and cyber, in defense, et cetera, to ensure that we're protected in the future. And then I think for our partners, our international partners, and certainly our very close Five Eyes partners, is to continue with that collaboration and that exchange of ideas and personnel. Today we have individuals from our Five Eyes nations, that are embedded with our command, and that just brings so much more perspective that we just wouldn't have otherwise. So those discussions, that collaboration, critical to the future.
Admiral Velez, I appreciate you spending time with me today. Thank you very much.
Pleasure to be here, sir. Thank you for having me.